This thing is a freaking rocket ship. Preparing launch control, active. Hey guys, today we have a 2026 BMW M2 CS. So for the G87 generation M2, BMW decided not to make the competition variant, but they went all in and gave us the competition sport. That's what the CS for. Compared to the standard M2, this thing has 50 more horsepower, weighs 100 pounds less, and also has some chassis modifications. It sits a little bit lower by 0.2 inches, it is stiffer, and has some other unique styling elements to the CS model to show at cars and coffee events that you are better than anybody else who has a G87. It is also more expensive compared to the regular M2. The standard M2 starts at $69,000. This thing right here starts at $100K and can be equipped with carbon ceramic brakes, which bump up the price to $108,000. So a lot of money for an M2. This thing is obviously built on BMW's CLAR platform, so we have a strut fin suspension, multi-link setup in the back combined with adaptive dampers. We do have carbon ceramics on board, so 6 pistons on the front axle, single piston floating caliper in the rear, and we have staggered wheel setup with 19s up front, 20s in the back, wrapped in Michelin Pilot Sport 4S, my favorite tire on the market. As of design, like I said, there are some styling cues telling you that this is a CS. BMW added some carbon fiber elements like the tailgate, ducktail, or the rear diffuser to save some weight. Also, the carbon fiber roof is standard. On the M2 CS, we have slightly different grille, and you can see all those heat exchangers through the holes. Not the best when you drive on a road that has a lot of debris or stones. This thing easily catches leaves and all the other junk, so you have to clean it regularly or protect it somehow. I don't know, put some sort of a mesh grill, but then we lose those cool styling elements. Let's quickly pop the hood and talk about the engine that powers the M2 CS. It's obviously the 3-liter twin-turbo straight 6, which makes 523 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque. The famous S58, one of the best 6-cylinder engines, if not the best 6-cylinder engine currently on the market. 2 turbos, one turbo feeds 3 cylinders, the other one feeds other 3 with extra boost. The power goes down to rear wheels only via an 8-speed automatic transmission provided by ZF but tuned by BMW's M division. Extra bracing to improve chassis stiffness, and truly an amazing motor. We're gonna hit the back road in a second and see what this thing is capable of. BMW claims it does 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds, so not bad at all. Our tester is painted in Brooklyn gray metallic, which looks flat, but as you look closer, there are some sparkles in here. Also unique CS rims in gold. They look really good. There's more special stuff inside. We have M2 CS door sills, those standard carbon bucket seats, which are simply amazing. Not the easiest to get in and out of, but once you sink inside, you feel amazing. Great support, they breathe very well, have adjustable bolsters, and are heated, which is not so obvious in all bucket seats. We can also take off the headrest if you want to comfortably fit with the helmet on, because the CS, at the end of the day, is a vehicle that you want to take to the racetrack. We have some more carbon fiber elements on door panels. The entire center console is finished in carbon fiber, Alcantara steering wheel, so it is maybe not drastically different compared to the standard M2, but there are some elements that not only on the outside but also on the inside show that this car is special. Oh, I just love the driving position. You sit very low and deep, great adjustment for the steering wheel, basically everything we need. All right, let's start this thing up in the most aggressive M1 mode that I have pre-configured. Alrighty, let's hear what it sounds like with exhaust open up. Really nice sounding straight 6-cylinder BMW's domain. They just make amazing motors. You can go back into regular comfort mode and even close the exhaust valve. It's gonna be super quiet. When it comes to the interior, it's a mix of old and new. When it comes to BMW's cabins, we have iDrive or BMW OS 8.5 on board, so we lost some physical controls like climate, for example, but we still have some shortened buttons for front and rear defrosters, volume knob, changing the tracks and hazards. Same with the iDrive controller. They are all haptic but logically laid out, and all important functions that we want to have quick access to are there. Same with the light control. Build quality is average. It is a 2 Series at the end of the day, but everything that should be soft to the touch is soft. Everything below the belt line is hard plastic, but that's fine. You don't interact with it on a daily basis. The CS is a little bit less practical compared to the normal M2. We lost cup holders, have a wireless charger that not only doesn't charge your phone, but also overheats it. There's a spot for, I think, the key, USB Type A port, USB Type C, nor armrest. That's also typical for CS models, but we can nicely rest the hand here, and driving this thing isn't punishing. We have a glove box and really solidly built cabin. Let's take a look at the back seat. I'm not gonna try to fit in there, but you have to believe me, being 6'1", I can fit if I really need to. We can only fit 2 passengers in the back. There's no center seat. But what we can do is we can drop this part and carry longer items. We also have ISOFIX latches on outer seats if you want to carry your kids to school or to the racetrack. And huge center console, typical for BMWs based on the CLAR platform. Let's quickly take a look at the trunk. At the end of the day, the 2 Series or the M2 are practical vehicles. For 2 people, you can easily fit 2 suitcases or 2 duffel bags. The floor doesn't open, so we cannot see what's underneath there. We do have a fix-a-kit, 12-volt socket, and some nets here to organize the cargo area. Also, European models get a wording triangle here, not required in the US, so we don't have that. Let's put this back in place, close it. Super light CFRP trunk. Here are the seat controls. Like I said, you can adjust the bolsters, and they are really holding you well. Let's maybe a one more rev. Oh, that sounds so good, and it's a real exhaust noise. None of that pumped in audio. All right, I'm gonna go back to regular driving mode. Let's take off and see what it's like to drive this thing, and if it actually is any different compared to the regular M2. With the extensive use of carbon fiber reinforced plastic, BMW saved 100 pounds, which isn't a lot. It's not even a weight of a driver behind the wheel. And I can already tell you, maybe when you go to the racetrack, you'll feel the difference in weight, but as you drive it normally, you cannot tell that this thing is lighter than the standard M2. However, you can feel those extra 50 horsepower. It is super quick and super tail happy, which we will demonstrate in a minute. It's very twitchy, aggressive, and also one thing that I noticed right after taking off is there is maybe not a lot of feedback coming from the steering, but it's less isolated than the standard M2. You can feel engine vibration through the steering, so we'll see if BMW made any improvements and if you can finally have an idea of what's happening with the front axle. Because in the standard M2, you can't really tell, and the car feels very synthetic. All right, we're in normal driving mode. Just floor it. The tail danced a little bit, but wow, that S58 is a torque monster. Such an amazing motor. Really gives me nothing to complain about. It's so smooth with power delivery. There's just a hint of turbo lag, but the turbos are always ready to go, ready to spool and provide you all the boost that you need.
A little bit of noise coming from the carbon ceramics. They are a little bit cold, so we're gonna have to get them up to the temperature. Obviously, in a typical BMW M fashion, there are multiple things that we can adjust. Let's start with M mode. We're just gonna change the settings for our driver assistance systems. Then we have M1 and M2. M1, in my case, is the most hardcore powertrain settings, chassis settings, steering, brakes, everything. M2 is more for everyday driving, but with the full blast from the powertrain. Let's put it into M1 mode. The car is gonna go into manual automatically. And let me tell you something, this thing is flying and twitchy at the same time. It's truly amazing what BMW's M division did with the 6-cylinder. Super smooth when it comes to power delivery, revs all the way up to 7200 RPM, and at the same time sounds pretty good, especially for a modern 6-cylinder. The 8 HP unit from ZF is a class of its own. It's obviously not at the level of PDK or some dual clutch units, but it's super quick to respond, has great logic in automatic mode, so if you don't want to play with paddles, you can just let it do its thing, and you are gonna get a huge smile on your face. The G-forces make me a little bit nauseous. I'm not gonna lie, you can go super fast through those corners. The diff in the back does a very good job putting down the power and works well with the traction and stability control system, which we do have limited, but there's still a little bit of slip, and quick corrections fix that. The steering is slightly improved compared to the standard M2, but I will say it still doesn't provide us the feedback that we want, especially from a car that we're gonna be driving on a racetrack. What's not disappointing though are the brakes. Really great braking power, super easy to modulate it, and I have so much confidence in slowing down this 3,800 pound coupe. In the most aggressive chassis setting, there's still some body roll, but it's not very present. And it's crazy just how fast you can go. That was like a 30% throttle pull. Really awesome. Wow. I was regretting that I didn't have a chance to take it to the racetrack, but on a curvy back road like that, you also have plenty of fun, and I am more than happy driving it. So it's not only a strict track tool, also does very well on an unpaved road, as long as it's smooth. Wow. The car nicely listens to your inputs though. It still has some of that BMW M DNA, so that's pretty cool. Alright, let's go back into normal driving mode. So we're gonna go back into road for driver assistance, turn off the M1, and let's talk about what it's like to live with it. It is slightly stiffer and less comfortable compared to the standard M2, but I will say it's a totally livable vehicle. The cabin isolation is good. The suspension is stiff. You feel most bumps and road imperfections, but not to the point where you hate your life. Same with the bucket seats. They are hard, they're pretty aggressively bolstered, but once you get inside, you sit and you can do a couple of hours of driving on a highway and will not be tired or frustrated. That's coming from someone who has back problems. Really nicely done. Now the big question is it worth paying extra $25,000, $30,000 compared to the standard M2? Well, that's a question you have to ask yourself. You can easily tune the engine to get those 523 horses that the CS has. You can make some modification to the suspension and other things, put in an exhaust, and that'll probably cost you 10, 15 grand. So you do pay extra for different design and that CS badge, and you have to be your own judge. Yes, you have something to brag about when you go to Cars and Coffee or other automotive events. If you're a true enthusiast, just get the standard M2. especially with a manual transmission. Make some mods and you'll be more than happy. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say about this thing. I've been really enjoying driving it for the past few days. It didn't disappoint me. I have to realize that modern cars are not what they used to be, and this is nowhere near even the first generation M2, but it's still very nice and coherent, still puts a smile on your face, so very, very well done, fellas, from the M division. Alright, I'm gonna have a little bit more fun in it, so stick around if you want to see it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you all later. I'll go back into most aggressive settings.